Hello and welcome to Caching Waves. This is an update for Rune. If you've been watching the videos, we've been trying to get into this trade here long. Haven't been able to hit any fib levels we're expecting. If this was a 5-wave impulse, clearly not at this point. So what I'm leaning towards now is that this is the count we're looking for. Initially, we thought that this might be a flat correction, and we still need a 5th wave to the upside, which again is still possible, but it would have to be more of like an ending diagonal in itself than an impulse 5 wave. That's the way I'm viewing it currently. Something like this looks similar to a ending diagonal, but not quite the way I'd like it to be. But we've gotten a 3-wave chop wave here as most likely an ABC, and I'll show you that in the lower time frames. So I'm leaning more that we're making this gray ABC, and we're going to come down to the 50 and the 618 of this wave, and I'm leaning more that this is complete. And alternatively, the only way I really see us coming up and making another 5th wave is if this ends up being a ending diagonal. So let's zoom down here. As you can see, we have most likely our A wave complete. We have 5 waves down. And again, this could have completed the C wave in the flat or an A wave in an ABC correction to the downside. So you can see we have our 5-wave impulse. It was very clean, came to exact targets. 1618 there in green, and then the 200 as well. On linear, we hit the 1.236 extension of this A wave if it was a flat, which is why I was leaning that, and we kind of just popped out of the channel for a minute and popped back in. So we're looking to come between the 50 and the 618 up here of this move down to complete our B wave. I want to show you this on BitGet just because the waves are more clean. Actually, it works well here. Since everything's labeled, I'll just use this chart. But as this was forming out, what I was considering was the fact that it could have been a B wave, where we got something like this, an expanded flat, A, B, C, or a running flat. But the amount of time this is taking doesn't really make sense for wave 1. It does make sense for an A wave, where this is just a 3-wave pattern. I was looking on, again, BitGet here. I want to show you this in real time. That's what I was looking for last night. Because as soon as we pass through the 1.618 extension, you can see we ticked through it. This no longer becomes a B wave at all. So the extension of a B wave in an expanded flat can come as high as the 1.618. The most probable is the 1.236 to 1.382, but it's invalidated after we pass the 1.618. So I was looking for that. I was hoping we got it here, and this was a running flat. Like we came straight back and then took off. Didn't get that. This is still 5 waves to me. So what I think is happening here is this is a ABC in itself, or a WXY. This is a 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, most likely an expanded diagonal here. Like so. I know it's pretty frustrating to be wanting to get into this trade and not getting it, but you can see how important it is not to like jump the gun. And also what I was looking for overnight is if this took off from here and just made 5-wave impulse, like a nice 5-wave, and then a nice correction sideways. If we got something like this, I was going to enter in here, stop at this low, and consider this a 1, 2, 1, 2. But we didn't get that either. I wanted to see that before I committed to that. Because where we'd expect to come on our second 1, 2 is the 0.618 extension, which we hit here off these pivots. On a 1, 2, 1, 2, you usually want to come to the 0.618. That's the most common target of the second 1, 2 extension off the first. So it was looking good for a little bit there as either the flat or the second 1, 2. The second 1, 2 is still technically in play. But just the look of this, just from trading experience, this looks like an ABC, which makes sense for the fifth being done on the larger time frame, like we looked at, and we're looking for a B wave here, and then a C wave. So, going back to this, it makes most sense that we're looking for this B wave up here between the 50 and the 618, and then our C wave down to this area. So I believe that is the first A wave, potentially, in an ABC. But what that would mean for us, go back to the 15-minute, is we're going to get some sort of zigzag patterns. This could be a flat, we come pretty deep. This could be a double zigzag where it's a W, X, and then another zigzag up. But the important thing is, if I give you any exact pattern, I'm literally guessing because there's so many options that can happen, right? But where I'm confident is whatever pattern we get, we should target this area. That's where analysis is slightly different from trading. I know I need, the most common spot I hit is up here between the 50 and the 618. I know this is a bottom, at least a short-term bottom, right? And if I use my time, I know this should most likely take at least 0.618 of the wave down to complete, which is over here. The least I'd want is 0.33, so it's possible that it's done, but it's not probable, right? And it would, if you zoom out, it would look rather, it wouldn't look right if we just came down here for our C as an A, B, C on the larger view count, just dropping down right now, A, B, C. We'd get very, very deep because we'd be targeting the 1-to-1 extension, right, of this first leg down off the B. So because of all those reasons, I'm going to switch this. Again, it still technically can be a 1-2-1-2. It'd just be an expanded flat, and we hold this low. If you get indications of a trend change, it doesn't look like it at the moment, but I've seen it happen in areas like this. This could be a 1-2-1-2 to the upside. But if you're going to trade that, if you chose to trade that, you might want to do something like buy when this triggers and then stop at this low and go for it. I'm just going to sideline myself on that scenario. But I think this is an ABC. Again, I don't know for sure, but I know we need to hit up in this area, right? That's what I'm going for. So I'm just going to get rid of these for now. And I was able to come up with something as this correction finally, but it took a little bit because I didn't like the shape. This is an A, a flat for a B, and this would have to be an expanded diagonal at the end. I just don't usually look for expanded diagonals, but it counts. You can see the shape's a little wonky. It would have to be like this. This is our 5, A, B, C, like this. So you can say, you should have caught that, but it's a pretty ugly shape. I liked the idea that we needed to come down from here, personally myself, because we hadn't hit the 382 yet on the retracement here, which again makes more sense that it was a B wave. B waves can be pretty short and quick. So that's what I'm looking at. I might get into an entry here. I haven't gotten in yet, but I'm going to re-pull these pivots, and I can see we're at the 382. So I'm going to buy 1/3 of my position at the moment, right here, because I have passed the 382. I'm going to buy one piece of my position at the 50 and the 618. But all I'm going to look for once we pivot is the 1-to-1 extension of this A wave, wherever we pivot. So I'm not sure how low we'll go, maybe just to the 50, maybe to the 618, but this should take a little bit of time just to pan out here. This can get deleted. And this is an A wave over here. I can go over here. So if this is bullish and this is the end of the flat, what I would expect, just to show you guys, most scenarios have us going to upside. This is an ABC, so this would be like a wave 1 in a leading diagonal, right? And we come up, make our wave 3, come down, make our wave 5, and that would be a larger one too. So that's kind of how that scenario would pan out, and we'd be looking for a third after that correction, right? But you can see there's a lot of options available here. The one to the downside seems least likely to me, just because the evidence of the time where we most likely would come to, the 50 and the 618. It just all aims towards we need to come up to this area first. So I'm going to take this long. I'm going to buy it right away at the 382, 1/3 of it. And my stop will go at the previous low of the last setup, right at this pivot low. All right, guys, I hope that all made sense. We're just looking for evidence. It's not a B wave, so it has to be an ABC, or the only alternative bullish is a 1-2, 1-2, and we take off for a third. But you can tell by the pattern here, it doesn't seem likely. Even though it's possible, it doesn't seem likely, right? It doesn't really have the right shape to us at the moment. So looking for this, I'm going to buy a third right now. I'm looking for this to come up, make our 3 wave, and then make either 5 waves or another 3 wave up to here. And I'll close my trade at the 1-to-1 target whenever this pivot is in. All right, guys, that's Rune. Check out my other videos if you want to see my other trade setups. Thanks for watching.